we get to the main event between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And also, we'll get to Seth Rollins cashing in, so do not mention that just yet. We'll get to that at the end of this prediction panel. So kicking it off, RJ, I'll start with you. Brock Lesnar, the newly re-signed Brock Lesnar, I'll say that, versus the not-so-ready for main event scene, Roman Reigns. What do you got?
I think the money's in Lesnar. I got to go with Lesnar. I think even if Lesnar wins, it won't hurt Reigns. Reigns won't be hurt anyways. If he lost to Lesnar, it looked like he'd lose strong in defeat. Lesnar's the beast. He's not going to win. And it'd still look good if he put on a fight and lost to Lesnar. I think Lesnar winning would make way more sense. And then even if, Seth Rollins does cash in, we're going to say that later, but maybe have Reigns screw Lesnar after the match and Rollins cash it in, then they can have that feud. And then maybe Reigns gets over at SummerSlam or Reigns gets over down the line. I just don't think you could sell a pay-per-view right now with Roman Reigns as the top of the WWE, because who's he going to wrestle against? What heel would he wrestle against? He's going to go over as a face. They're pushing him as a big baby face. I think Lesnar, now that he's resigned, I think Lesnar's going to win. I think he may lose to Rollins in a cash-in, but it would have to be some kind of, dirty loss. He's not going to lose, clean. Someone's going to have to interfere, and he's going to lose it. I think the money's in Lesnar winning it, and I think him losing, it'd be what's the point? I guess the streak would make a point, but I think people would be well, Reigns isn't even ready, and no one wants to see Reigns champion, so it wouldn't even matter. I think the money's down the line with Reigns winning the title down the line. I don't think he's improved that much over the last couple months. I don't hate that he won. It's obviously manager's fault. I don't think it's his fault. If someone said, hey, you're going to win the WWE Championship, I'd be like, let's go.
Exactly.
I don't give a shit if no one thinks I'm ready, but I think Lesnar re-signing, I think he has to win. Even if he drops the belt, I think they can continue this Reigns feud, and I think it's better for business.
I think, like you said, it's not more so that people wouldn't care if he was champion. He's just not ready. And I think that was more evident than ever last night on Raw. He didn't say anything, but the ending to Raw, and we'll get into this right now because we were going to talk about it before. Your thoughts in the final segment of Raw?
Terrible.
Absolutely
terrible.
terrible.
I was like, what the hell? They just went off the air. I thought like someone's going to hit him with a belt or some kind. They haven't had any physical contact in this whole feud.
Which is fine.
It's
but
fine, but last night
they
should have had something.
The execution of it was very, very poor.
They should have maybe get Superman punch or F5 something. You can't have these two guys. Especially Lesnar, he looked like holding a title.
Yeah.
He looked like a little baby. It was stupid.
On your final Raw before
the final
WrestleMania.
Raw, and it ended so unclimactic. They just and they showed the stupid trademark thing and just went off the air. Everyone's like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah.
I think Lesnar has to.
I'm not trying to be negative here by any means. Especially Graham, I know you're all about positivity and TMA, but
You got it, brother.
Quickly, not to cut you off, this has honestly, I'm not trying to be negative at all, but this has been one of the most underwhelming, lackluster roads to WrestleMania that I can remember in a long time.
It's not being negative if you're being truthful. I will say that much, and that's the complete truth. I feel like the road to WrestleMania has not been bad. I mean, I've been more excited because I don't know. I'm just excited for WrestleMania, as you are too, RJ. I'm sure. But I feel like I will say that the hype for this matchup has been very, very poor. It's not because the build has been bad, but the only thing carrying this matchup are two things. One, Paul Heyman, and two, the fact that you don't know who might win at this point. With Lesnar's contract status, which has been resolved, but I feel like that's the only thing making me care about this matchup. The fact that, Roman Reigns has been riding this wave of momentum, and Brock Lesnar, he hasn't been doing anything since the Rumble, so that's not his fault, but they're not booking him properly. But the build has been horrendous.
Honestly, and I can understand why they didn't do it, because Lesnar is quote-unquote the heel, and they want Reigns to get as many cheers as possible. But I feel like if Heyman came out last night and said, "My beast just resigned for 2 more years," the place would have went nuts. If they announced that he signed last night, but like I said, I don't think they would do that just because he's not supposed to get cheered. But even so, I think that because it came out that he re-signed, he might get cheered on Sunday even more.
I think he'd get cheered over Reigns anyways.
Yeah.
I think he's the badass guy that everyone wants to see win. I think even if he's a dick and I I love the guy, but I think anyone from casual fan, like, that guy kicks ass. Like, he's the stone cold badass. Like, even though he's supposed to be the guy you hate, you love him.
It's not Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar in that both guys are leaving. Roman Reigns is staying, but even then, people know he's not ready. And with Brock Lesnar, it's not like, oh, there's still so much left to do. And technically there is, but people recognize he's going to go to UFC. We saw this coming.
Yeah.
You know, back in 2004, it was a little bit different when you're like, oh, you screw this guy, you're supposed to be a top guy, and you don't want to travel, all this other BS. And that's not the issue here. People still would have cheered Brock over Roman because they want to see him, you know, stay with the WWE. That's why they want to see him win. So that's why they would have cheered him regardless. But it's not even like they're hiding from that fact either. He mentioned that in the interview. I looked on WWE.com and they announced it too that they are sticking together. That Brock Lesnar is staying with the WWE, sticking with them. So they're not shying away from that whatsoever. But I do agree that the build has been very, very lackluster, and I'm very excited for it, if only for the fact that Paul Heyman will be at ringside for his first WrestleMania main event, I think, ever. I don't think he's been in a WrestleMania main event yet. But I think the match itself could go either way from an in-ring standpoint, but the outcome is definitely going to be interesting, to say the least. But, Mike, who was your final pick? Or did we not ask you yet? I think you just jumped in, right?
Yeah, I just kind of butted in there.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, a couple of things about this match. I know we have like 5 minutes left or whatever, but what was I about to say? This is why I asked the question before. What match you think goes on last? Because I honestly, and I want to see. You know, if I was there, I'd be cheering for Brock Lesnar. I think the majority of the crowd is going to cheer for Lesnar. But if this goes on last, it's really, you know, if I'm Vince McMahon, I'm trying to think of myself like. Kind of got to gauge the crowd because, you know, 95% of WrestleManias end on a happy note, on a good note, has a good feel-good ending. Last year with Daniel Bryan, it's usually you know, the heel does not win.
Mm-hmm.
In this match, you know, they want, you can tell the company wants Reigns to go over, but if that's the last match on the show, I don't know if that's going to get a great reaction, you know, especially like I said about an hour ago. But I personally, I don't think, unless my TV was messed up, I think that Reigns was significantly outbooed over Lesnar. You know, it's kind of a weird way to describe it, but I heard more boos than cheers when Reigns came out, especially when he ripped the title away from him. That place was for sure booing him. Which, you know, he just talked about it, but that was such a horrendous ending of, I think RJ said, I'm just standing there watching my TV, and I'm just like, what the hell was that? Like, literally just went off the air, just so weird. Like, it made both guys look weak, and you look like 2 5-year-olds in the sandbox, like, just fighting over, like, a piece of gum or something. It was just so weird. Like, you know, Brock Lesnar is not going to let any, after Heyman literally talked about how much he loves that title and how it's personal to him and blah, blah, blah. And then Reigns just, like, grabs it from him, like, makes Lesnar look weak as hell, just not, like, laying him out. Even though I do agree, one of you guys said it, I do agree that no contact, I kind of like that. You know, it's kind of like a UFC type of feel to it. No physical contact before the match. I'm down with that. I have no problem with that. But it was such a bad ending of Raw last night, and the build has been lackluster. I'm hoping that Lesnar can, because Reigns is not ready to carry a match. As you know, they had a good match last month, but he was with Daniel Bryan. So I feel like usually Lesnar's the one who doesn't have to be carried, but I feel like he is the one in a match that he needs not someone to carry him, but someone to kind of lead him. You know, like Punk in SummerSlam. Just kind of thinking about his best matches. Kurt Angle, way back when, you know, his best matches, he was in there with somebody, besides maybe Cena, he was always in there with someone that would lead him. So I'm interested to see how it goes, and if he can lead the match and you know, make it a memorable match with Reigns, because Reigns is definitely not going to be the one, you know, calling the shot.
And that's another thing, too, because we thought a couple weeks ago that Reigns, or Lesnar, excuse me, at the end of his run, he's leaving, so he's like, you know, I don't give 2 craps, I'm not going to put any effort into this matchup, much like his matchup with Goldberg. But I feel like with this match, now that he's been re-signed, that we can get him we can get that matchup, or the match can be really, really good because he's going to care because he's re-signed with the company. You know what I mean?
The thing is, I think like last year, I think you could consider like you would consider Lesnar would kind of carry the match that they had last year because Undertaker was a 50-year-old man that was like dead on the ground, and he was like picking him up and doing all that stuff with him. So I think Lesnar can carry this match and lead it. I just think maybe I don't know what
Your call has been forwarded.
I don't know what you'd call it as, but I think Lesnar has to win this match. I don't even think it's that Reigns isn't ready necessarily, because I think the title would put heat on him and make him more ready. I just think him winning, there's less faces for him to wrestle against.
No, I absolutely agree. I feel like with Lesnar winning, that we can get that anything can happen feel. It's going to make me more excited for the next night's Raw. You know what I mean? I feel like with that, we can get that, like, oh, what's going to happen next? If Reigns wins, I will still look forward to Raw. Like, I won't be pissed if Reigns wins because we all saw it coming. But I feel like if Lesnar wins, we'll get that unpredictable feel, and it'll be like, anything can happen. So I'm looking forward to it for that respect alone. But with Lesnar and Reigns, though, I still feel like Lesnar, for one thing, I've seen some people say he should be a champion for the next year. I don't know about that. I don't know if he's going to hold the belt for another year.
I would say Lesnar could be champion for another year.
Really?
If he works every pay-per-view.
Oh, okay. That I could see. But I feel like if he's working the same,
I think he's going to work a little bit more than he has been.
Hopefully.
I think they said like he was going to work more.
You think so? In that interview with
Jonathan
ESPN?
Coachman said it, so I think he said he was going to work a little bit more.
Hopefully. That'd be pretty sweet. So I'm looking forward to that.
I think considerably part-time would be not every day. So
yeah.
He's not going to work.
No,
he's
not going
to work house shows.
No, but every pay-per-view or most pay-per-views, more than 2 or 3, would be ideal. So I would be looking forward to that. But Arden, what is your official pick for Lesnar versus Roman Reigns?
This is another one where I've been thinking about it for quite some time. And after hearing you guys speak, you guys have led me in this direction, and I'm sticking with it. And I would like to say thank you for helping me get to this decision. Thinking about the crowd, thinking about the re-signing, I have decided that I want Roman Reigns to win the WWE Championship, but I want him to win it in a way that will cause some controversy and something that will take it back to a decade ago, in which, yes, Roman Reigns wins the championship, but with the help of Paul Heyman. I think it will be a great tie-in at the end. I think it will make sense concerning how, unlike other Brock Lesnar opponents, Paul Heyman at times has been very complimentary of Roman Reigns. And I think it's something to play off to the fact that WWE needs to understand that Roman Reigns is not a 100% complete babyface. He is somebody that is a mixture. He is, quote-unquote, a badass. And I think if you paired him with, Paul Heyman, considering the fact that the people are already going to be behind Brock Lesnar, and yet Brock Lesnar's image won't be changed to a complete babyface, I think that will make for one stellar WrestleMania ending. So count me in for Roman Reigns winning the championship in a very unlikely scenario that Paul Heyman helps him win the championship. I would love that term.
I like that. I like that, what you're saying, Arden. But what I want to go back on, I think it was 2 weeks on Raw, Paul Heyman himself said, if Brock Lesnar is screwed at WrestleMania, whoever screws him...
Permitted for recording your message.
I don't know
if you're satisfied with the message, press 1. To listen to your message, press 2. To erase and re-record, press 3.
That was, believe Mike, his phone killed on us, and I called him back, and we're leaving a message.
If you're satisfied with the message, press 1. To listen to your message, press 2.
Okay, we're satisfied with the message, so shut the fuck up.
Send your message with normal
shut
delivery,
the one sec. We gotta just delete this and all this other shit. Okay, sorry about that. We got Mike off the... Well, Mike wasn't on the line. I think he hung up or his phone died.
All right, so back to what I was saying. I think a couple weeks ago, Paul Heyman, even himself, said, if any way Brock Lesnar is screwed out of this title, whoever does it to him will not walk out of this building alive. He even said that if authority screwed him over, whoever it was, he was going to kick their ass. So I like the thing of Heyman maybe screwing him over, but then Lesnar wouldn't just walk out of the ring and be like, okay, I lost to WrestleMania. He'd freaking freak out. I think this is how they could set up Seth Rollins. If they screw him over with Heyman, Lesnar freaks out, beats the living shit out of Reigns. Heyman's running up the ramp, and what's Lesnar gonna do? Chase right after him. Who's coming through, running through the crowd? Seth Rollins with the briefcase. He jumps over the ring. They have Triple H or someone else, and whoever's the referee, they ring the bell, curb stomp, he wins, people go nuts.
I actually love that scenario right there. I love the Roman Reigns. Now, heel turn. Yeah, I could see that. I could see them turning Roman heel. Actually, that would be like a triple turn. Would that be a triple turn? What the hell is a triple turn?
It'd be a triple turn.
The first time in WrestleMania.
Because the crowd would be so pissed that Reigns won.
Yeah, and Lesnar
lost. So then everyone would be like, all right, there's Lesnar chasing off Heyman. And then people would freaking shit their pants if Dan hit off. And you saw Rollins running through the crowd, jumping like the Shield, running through the crowd, curb stomp, pin, new champion, and it would be a happy note because the crowd would be electric.
Looking forward to Raw. What is Lesnar's response to Paul Heyman? Paul Heyman enlists a new client to, challenge Brock Lesnar. Who is it going to be? Fucking Samoa Joe, people. You listen to that. Samoa Joe versus Brock fucking Lesnar at SummerSlam. I would love to see that. It's not going to happen the night after WrestleMania because he's not going to be there. Because he's not signing for another couple months. But
I like his idea of the turn on Heyman. But like I said, I can have
an extra twist on it.
The double turn, because then he'd freak out on Reigns and beat the shit out of Reigns. Then chase after Heyman. And then everyone's like, what happens now? And then Rollins comes through the crowd. Because they'd run up like the ramp.
Yes.
And it would make so much sense. It would be amazing.
Yeah, now you're getting my hopes up. We know we're not going to see
now
that.
Now I'll be like in my room, like, come on.
I'm not going to say that Roman winning is not going to happen because he's not
exactly. Ready. I'm not saying it's out of the ordinary. Like, I don't hate Roman Reigns. I just hate the way he's booked. I don't care. I'm not gonna cry if he loses it or wins. Yeah. But I think it would make more sense if he does win. He would have to lose it, or Brock would have to retain.
Yes, absolutely agreed. I feel like with this matchup, it's not like I'm gonna say Roman isn't ready, so therefore he's not winning. What happened at the Royal Rumble? We thought he wasn't gonna win because he's not ready. Daniel Bryan was the perfect person to win. And he won in the most anticlimactic fashion ever with The Rock and Rusev and Big Show Kane. Horrendous fashion. One of the worst pay-per-view endings I've seen in quite some time. Arden and I talked about that on the show a couple months ago. So that being said, I feel like Roman winning is absolutely not out of the ordinary. And that's why I feel like he's going to win clean 1, 2, 3. And that's it. And they expect him, people to cheer him because they're just, delusional like that. Vince thinks, if we put the belt on him, then they'll cheer him. You know what I mean? Actually, here's Mike right now. Let's see if we can get him. Hold and accept. Let's see if we can get Mike. Hey, Mike, you there?
Yo.
What's up? Okay, 1 second. Let's merge Arden in here. Okay, I think we got the Fatal 4-Way back in here. Arden, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah. Are you guys still on?
Yeah, we're still on. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I was in the middle of a big rant before, and then
just cut out. My phone died. I think I called you back, and we left you a 2-minute voicemail. So if you want to listen to our prediction of Roman Reigns versus Lesnar, it's in your voicemail. But basically what I was saying before, I feel like it's not out of the ordinary. I feel like my prediction is Roman Reigns wins clean 1, 2, 3, no heel turn, go off the show with that. Do I want to see that? Absolutely not. I'm not going to cry like RJ said because I know it's going to happen. But I love you guys' scenarios with Reigns going heel and joining with Heyman, or like you said, Lesnar turning babyface, going after Heyman, and Heyman screws over Lesnar, and Roman goes heel, and Rollins cashes in. That would be an amazing way to close off the show.
Mike, I'll just catch you up with what we said. Arden says he thinks Roman's going to win because Heyman's going to screw Lesnar. Yep. I think Lesnar's going to win, but off his idea of Heyman screwing Lesnar, I'd have, because 2 weeks ago on Raw, Heyman said that whoever screws Lesnar is not going to walk out of the building alive. So my scenario was, if that happened, he'd beat the shit out of Reigns, then chase Heyman up the ramp, and then out of nowhere you'd hear Rollins' music hit, and him running through the crowd with the briefcase and cashing it in, and Reigns would be knocked out after Lesnar beat his ass and went to go chase after Heyman, and then he hits him with the curb stomp, 1, 2, 3. Crowd freaking shits their pants because they were so mad Reigns won, and then Rollins comes in cashing the day. They end with their happy ending because the crowd loved how Reigns lost the belt, and that's how you end WrestleMania.
Hashtag
book it.
Book it. I would love to see it. But like we said before, I think you missed this part too, but I was just saying that because RG just said that, I'm getting my hopes up now, and now I'm going to be 10 times more disappointed because it's not going to happen. I'm sure like Reigns will win clean 1, 2, 3. But that's my final prediction.
So
RJ.
I got Lesnar.
You got Lesnar. I have Roman Reigns. Arden, who do you got?
I'm sticking with my Reigns Heyman.
Reigns Heyman.
I'm going through with it.
You're WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And Mike, you got 2 for Lesnar, 1 for Lesnar, 2 for Reigns. Who do you got?
It's tough, man, especially after what happened today. I got, I'm going to have to go with the reigning, defending WWE World Heavyweight Champion,
Rock.
Brock Lesnar.